So, considering how you guys have beaten up my last video, I wanted to talk real quick about Joji's album Nectar because I realized I brought it up and I didn't even speak about how I felt on the album as a whole. To get straight into it, honestly, I think Nectar was a great step up in terms of vocal quality for Joji. He really proved to all of the fans that said he only had one vocal range of constant grumbling that he had more talent that was to be unlocked still. And while a lot of people, like myself, were at first uneasy about this transition, I think it's important to note that even when he played Pink Guy back in the day, some of his songs sounded really pretty. And the thing that had to be the defining factor in Joji to differentiate him from Pink Guy, I think, was the fact that he had to sing, not just have pretty songs with pretty little vocals to accompany them. So, at the end of the day, I think Nectar did well on the vocal standpoint. As a whole, it was a step up on most of the tracks. Um, so, talking on an individual track list, let me get the full track list up right now. So it's songs like Your Man that provided the album with some more life, which I felt like was well needed because on the other side we had songs like, well, I don't know, let's say High Hopes, one of my least favorite songs, which was one of the most ironically pessimistic songs I've ever heard by Joji. um, so it was mediocre. So you had these really good, like punchy songs like "Give Me Love," which is obviously the single we've already heard. Nitrous, which was a good mix of his old grumbly aesthetic and a new, more punchier beat. 777, one of my standout favorite tracks because although it was kind of weekendy in the whole simp. Are you serious? Synth pop vibe. I feel like actually, it was good, and not every synth pop song is gonna be a song, and we need to start sort of appreciating that. He doesn't own a genre. Um, Mr. Hollywood was okay, but it was another sort of, and most of the songs, other than the few I just named, were quite boring, and that's where the pitfall of the album really is. It has a lot of fake deep lyrics, like the nonsensical lyrics in Reanimator. Like you do is just to sit and grovel in your emotions thing, and I really like the song, but it's no, Grammy winning, insane number one hit song. It's really just Joji singing okay and having an okay instrumental. Um, so yeah, I think my two songs that I think I could recommend to anyone that doesn't regularly listen to Joji out of the album. I always like to think about this as a outsider looking in perspective. I think the two songs that work the best are TikTok and Your Man. Hence why Your Man has blown up a lot more than any of the other songs. I'm pretty sure because Your Man is just straight up the most easy to bop to. It's the most welcoming to fans that aren't as big on the sort of alt music style, because some of the instrumentation in Joji's latest sort of catalog is slightly more experimental. Not much, but hence why it's a bit of a letdown sometimes with these songs. But it's like, as well, it's all good knowing that the songs are kind of boring. But if you got boring songs, at least they flow well. But they don't in Nectar. There's what seems to be almost an attempt at an interlude here with Upgrade, and it just doesn't flow because you go from, what is it like? I think you go straight from, I can't remember the track list in order very well, but you go from one of his new songs into like singles and stuff. I think anyway. No, it's Daylight. I think then Upgrade. I think so anyway. But anyway, the flow there is not very good because you go from this really upbeat, punchy song to this really cute piano song all of a sudden, and you're like, okay, well, either way, let's say it's bringing you down, it's slowly like letting you drop in, but the next song, it just doesn't fit at all. Let me get the exact track list up so I know I'm not actually. So yeah, it's Daylight into Upgrade, and then goes into Give Me Love. Why is it there? Because as far as I can tell, there's no narrative to this album, even though I strongly expected there to be one, considering the interlinking music videos we had for the singles before this. Instead, we got Upgrade in the middle of Daylight and Give Me Love with no context really, even in the music videos that they seem to link at all. Not to mention the fact that, like I just said, Daylight, very punchy, upbeat. So it's got Diplo in there, which is a good. I don't like Diplo, but he did well in the song, and he did well at giving it his touch. But then we go through Upgrade, which is this sort of piano ballad, which is really cute and nice and pretty. But then we go into Give Me Love, which is this punchy, really aesthetically, quick paced, this nice, rhythm in the background. You're not calming down here. You go into this calm state in the middle, and you're straight back into it. And that doesn't work with an album filled with sad boy songs. So the flow overall of Joji's Nectar is off. The vocal performance is better, but still nowhere near the standard that he gets credit for. And some of the singles that are in here are nice, but a lot of the new songs are quite boring. And that's a huge letdown from an album that's taken like a year or two to come out. And I understand there were production issues and things going on at the time, so we pushed back the album. So you'd think even more so they would be polished, they would be a lot more, but it just doesn't hit in the same way. Also, I'd like to say before I end the video that I don't dislike this album. I have opinions on certain songs in this album, but as a whole, I would sit and listen through the whole album and say this was a satisfying experience. So I recommend fully that you do go out and buy the album. But that being said, there are a few underlying issues in this album as his second studio album that I would really like to see fixed come his third release, whether it be a single, an album, an EP, whatever it may be, whether it be another live stream event. I want to see it fixed because we all know Joji has good potential here, and he's shown glimpses of it, once again, only glimpses, in this new album. But I'm really waiting for Joji to hit that final note. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, check out Nectar. Make sure that you look closer into your music than you might already originally, because otherwise you're going to sit there listening to some boring crap for 30 minutes. Please don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to, because there's going to be plenty of, gaming videos and skits and music stuff. Yeah. That being said, it's really bye.